So let's talk about favorite battle systems. So we both like Raven Default 2's battle system. What other battle systems and RPGs do you really enjoy?
Okay, so just going strictly off of turn-based RPGs, my favorite battle system has probably been FF10 to bring it up again.
Oh damn.
Um,
I'm
and the
surprised.
reason the reason why is because it took a fairly unique approach, I want to say. Maybe not super unique, but this is what FF10 did if you don't know, if it's not clear. Essentially, it's a turn-based game, and on the side of the screen, it says like whose turn is coming up next,
Yep.
right? So it'll be like Titus Una, Waka, Monster, Orin. And what I liked about it is every single attack in the game had like an invisible speed stat tied to it.
Yeah.
Depending on how quick or slow the action was, depended on how quick your next action would come up in the turn. So if you used haste, you directly saw the results of haste. It's kind of like FF7's action time battle, where FF7 has the bar that fills up. When the
Yeah.
bar fills up, you get to take an action. Depending on the type of action you take, speeds up or slows down the bar filling up. So FF10 basically has that same system as 7, but it's broken down to a more solid turn-based system where there's not bars constantly filling up.
Yeah. And you can
Um,
plan when like you can see, okay, Yuna, my white mage, her turn is coming up after this monster, but this monster might kill someone. So let me use a potion or something now or
yep,
cure my character now because the white mage is not going to get a turn before the boss acts.
exactly. It lets
You
you
can
plan the
blatantly see that.
turns. Whereas in FF7 and other action time battle games, I like those games a lot, but sometimes
The
it
enemies
feels
just start
like
acting. They start cheating almost. It feels like.
you just got to hit attack. You're like,
Yep.
I just got
And
to
it
hit.
and it forces an action. It kind of defeats the purpose of turn based because if you have it on ATB active and not wait, you can fucking be in the menu trying to do something and the enemy will just start attacking your party like over and over again while you're
Yeah,
trying to decide what you want to do, which I do not like that level of anxiety. I get so nervous and I'm like, fuck, like don't rush me. Let me
not at
go with my
all.
menus and figure out, do I want to use Cura here? Do I want to, maybe Cura will get the job done? I don't have to use Cura. I'll save some MP because Lord knows I'm really cheap when it comes to spending MP in RPGs.
That's something that's pretty good about FF13. As much as there are downsides to it, I do have some upsides to it.
So
But
let's hear your
FF
upsides to FF13.
well,
I'm
FF13,
curious.
you can set up sort of macros for different actions. So you could take a certain number of actions. Like I think you take like 4 actions, right? So it could just be like attack, and on your turn, your character would attack 4 times.
Yeah.
Or it could be like attack, cure, fire, or whatever. And you could set up certain different macros
Yeah.
that are available,
Oh
and
yeah. I kind of remember that.
you can just kind of mess with those macros, and that was kind of cool. Like I enjoyed that about 13. In general, like the real quick on 13, I think that there's a lot wrong with it. Mainly, I don't want to get into all of it, but I ended up
Story for
enjoying the
one.
game. I ended up enjoying the game as just a game, but there's a lot wrong with it. But I will say, after you get all the way to the end of the game and you go into the big open field, that
Yep.
shit's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, that part is cool. But I'm just going to talk about why I don't fucking like 13 because I'm not going to let these people not hear me
Go
rant
ahead, tell them.
about what
Fine,
is
we
wrong
can
with
do it.
13.
Let's go.
I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it.
Say it.
13's biggest problem to me was you don't get your party members all together in a battle until like fucking 40 hours in. Literally,
You don't.
from the start of the game until I want to say 40 plus hours into the game, you're forced into these one-on-one pairings. So it'll be the main character with like the guy size or whatever his name
It'll be
is.
like lightning and snow,
Yeah.
or like
And,
vanilla
and it's
and
always two at a
whatever.
time. And also there's no roaming at all. Like
Not all hallways.
the like that game was made as just one long ass hallway. You always just have to navigate. You're going straight pretty much the entire game. There's no exploring anything. The dungeons or anything. There's no exploring. There's no secret chest to really find. It's very, very linear. It almost feels like you're actually just playing through a movie and you're waiting for the next cinematic because it has a lot of cutscenes. And I don't mind cutscenes. I love Final Fantasy games because of their amazing cutscenes. The problem is I don't have any deviation from what the game is telling me to do for the main story. It's literally you go straight, you fight boss, you go straight, you fight boss. It switches to two other characters, and then you do the same exact thing. And then after 40 hours of that nonsense, you finally get to an open field. But at that point, if you're like me, you're fucking over it. Like I
You're
was
just
over
over
it.
it. Yeah. Everything you said's true. The game, everything you said is exactly
I
what happens
like
with
the
the
game
game.
is a beautiful like
And
for its time. It was a very beautiful game. It looked really cool. The battle system, it's okay. It has this whole paradigm shifting thing that you kind of do where you say like, oh, my guys are all in assault mode right now, or they're all in defensive mode. And
Yeah, you control the AI of your other party members
yeah,
instead of controlling them directly.
and what was weird about that is you would fight against the boss, and let's say the first time you fought against it, you would just get completely wiped out. Like you would go into the fight how you've gone into the last 40 fights you've had, where you just leave your characters on assault and they'll just attack and destroy the boss or destroy the monsters, and then you'll get up to the boss battle, and that will literally get you killed. So then you have to figure out which mode to put your characters on. But once you do that, here's what I didn't like. I would switch myself to a paradigm thing that was more defensive, and we would auto win the fight. I wouldn't have to touch my controller. I remember literally this one machine you fight, because that game has a lot of machine bosses. There was this one really big machine boss that would shoot lasers and shit, had a bunch of cannons and a big head. And I switched my characters to this one paradigm thing, and I just let them go. And like now, my characters weren't really taking as much damage. They were counterattacking everything, and I didn't have to do anything. Like I literally just chose that option, and that ended the fight for me. It took a little while, but it like there was no fear of death at that point. Like I literally was able to kind of let myself let go of the controller.
So I want to say I pretty much agree with everything you said. I ended up like playing through it, enjoying it. I played it really late because I played FF13 on my PS3 or whatever.
Okay.
I played it for all of 10 minutes before just
it's a PS3 game, right? Like that's where it came out.
Yeah, but I didn't really play it on PS3. I played it for all of 10 minutes and I just like shut it down. Yeah. And then many years later, it came out on Steam, and I wanted to own every Final Fantasy game on Steam, so I just had them all on my computer. So I bought it and I played through it, and I was like, whatever, I'll try it on my computer or whatever. And I played it. I ended up getting into it, and even though I pretty much agree with all of your downsides, I ended up just kind of getting into it and going through the game and enjoying it and liking it. But I will say, I do think it's not that good in terms of like all. It
doesn't have that
Fantasy
sauce
games
you were talking about before.
It really doesn't.
There's something
like it looks pretty and like there's some fun aspects, but it doesn't have the secret sauce. Also, like okay, the level up system is the Crystarium. Instead of it being, it tries to be like the Sphere Grid, whereas the Sphere Grid lets you go through it and it gives you a lot of choice. The Crystarium is literally just a level up system that you have to do extra steps for. There's no choice. You just level up. So you just have to go into a menu, hold the A button or the X button, and you level up, and you don't really get, you might be able to like take one extra deviation to get one thing and then come back.
But it's not real.
It's just a level up system.
It's the illusion of choice. The Spirit Grid literally allows you to deviate from, if Titus is a warrior, he can literally become a thief or a black mage at a point. You can literally choose, this is how I want to develop my character. And you can look ahead and see exactly how he's going to end up.
Yep.
The Crystarium, Final Fantasy 13, not like that. But anyway,
doesn't do that at all.
Game is not that good. Worth playing. Go ahead.
It is worth playing. One last thing with the story, though, I think one of the biggest problems is the terminology it uses. In 13, everything is like there's the Fal'Cie and the L'Cie and the Seath.
God, I forgot about this.
That shit was playing so confusing. 13, you don't know what the fuck is going on.
No, they never really
so much like lore and like words that don't mean anything that are part of the story. Whereas in FF10, just to like draw on a losing FF10, when you go in FF10, Titus isn't part of that world, and so they explain things to him, and it doesn't feel forced because he doesn't know what's going on.
Exactly.
So when they explain things to you, everything kind of makes sense, and it happens at a slow pace.
They literally say he has amnesia. And so it makes sense, you playing the game and being dropped into a world with Machina, you don't really know what that means. The Albed, you don't really know what that means either. You start to learn it because everyone talks to you like you're stupid.
Yeah.
Which helps.
And it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah,
they don't like, whereas in this game, everybody just talks as if they all know what's going on.
Yes.
So like, so there's a L'Cie, Fal'Cie, and you're like, what the fuck are they talking?
Hey guys, if you like this clip, we have full video versions of our podcast episodes available on the IMNerd Patreon, as well as exclusive content.
If you'd like to listen to our full podcast episodes or find us on any other social media platforms, you can do so by clicking the link tree below.